Hello, welcome to the Sovereign Magazine show. I'm Nicole George, your host, and today we have Renee Merkle here. She's going to introduce herself in just a minute, but I wanted to share with you that Sovereign Magazine is a transformational experience where conscious conversations meet embodied wisdom. We have deep conversations in each episode that invite visionary healers, thought leaders, and change makers to share their journeys of awakening, offering our listeners practical tools and soul stirring insights to reclaim their inner authority. Today, we're going to be talking about awakening to the new earth consciousness with Renee Merkle. So, without further ado, welcome, Rennie.
Hello, thank you for having me. I am Rennie. I
Yes.
am a quantum new earth mentor and a multidimensional channel, among many other things, but there's only so much space a title can hold. So that's what I go with. I have had my spiritual gifts my entire life, and my spiritual team forced me out of corporate accounting into my soul mission of leading the ascension of humanity and Earth while activating the new Earth leaders into their soul mission. And so that's what I'm here to do.
It's a big job. It's a really, really big job.
Big deal.
So, for those who are unaware of what New Earth consciousness means, maybe they've never even heard the term, or they're just beginning to awaken on this journey. Why don't you share a little bit more about what it is and how you're helping the world?
Yeah. So, for many millennia, we've been under the 3D matrix that has had systems and controls in place and structures. And right now, all of that is being dismantled. You may see some chaos in the world. That is the 3D matrix coming apart. There's just a little bit of that going on. Um, and I know that there are a lot of people who are in fear of what is happening. But just as we clear the energy in our own energetic field of all of the things that we've been through, whether it is trauma or just, soul contract stuff or energetic cords that need to be cleared, we have to bring that energy up in order to clear it. Well, that's happening on the global scale right now because 8 billion people and a planet are all ascending at the same time. We are in the Great Awakening. And if you're listening to this, most likely you volunteered to be here at this time to have the front row seat to the greatest show in universal history, where a planet is inhabited by incarnated souls and ascending with them. And so, one, you're here because you asked to be here. So I know it's very difficult to be a human right now. That constantly comes through my channel. Uh, they always say, we understand that it is hard to be a human right now, but also you volunteer to be here at this time because you have a role to play in our collective awakening. And so we are moving out of all of these heavy, dense energies, the control over others, the um, I'll use the corporate structure for example because I have escaped it myself. Um, that whole climbing the corporate ladder, you have to get ahead, there's competition, there's not enough of whatever the thing is. And in nature, there's always plenty of everything, but we have been programmed to believe that there's limitations, that there's scarcity, that there's lack, that there's not enough, that we have to, um, climb on top of somebody else to get ahead. And all of that energy is heavy and it's dense and it's not actually true. And so we're moving away from that. And what we're moving into is the new earth consciousness, where love, kindness, dignity, respect, equity, equality are the way of the future, where we're taking care of one another. We don't leave anyone behind. that we're moving into oneness. I should say we're remembering oneness because there has been all of this division and separation that has happened. Um, for example, in organized religion, they teach you have to go through a priest or whoever in order to get to God, to get your prayers answered, whatever. We are source. We do not need an go between to get our connection because we are innately connected. And so that's also falling away. And we also are, so we're remembering, the veil is falling. We are remembering the truth of who we are. We are stepping into this energy of being able to help each other, to understand that we are all souls having a human experience. We are not humans with souls. We are souls incarnated in these meat suits that get us around this incarnation. And when we're done, we leave the suit behind and we go back to our energetic signature. And so there's a lot of deprogramming that is occurring. There is a lot of, um, going back to when you realize that something, I'm just seeing how they want to put this. The image that they're showing me is like there's somebody that you love dearly and they have given you the biggest betrayal of your life and you just don't know what to do with it. That's kind of how the 3D matrix has been. It's been that betrayal. It's also lessons that we have set out to learn. So it's not like anything's bad or wrong. Energy is energy, and there's just a difference in the frequency of the energy. And so um, we are undoing all of that energy of the ways in which we have been programmed to believe that we are separate, that you have to get ahead by putting somebody else down, that what you have takes away from somebody else. There's all of this energy that's in everyone's field that we're moving. Then we have all of our ancestral and family line energy that's happened and all of the things that have happened where we live. So the new earth consciousness is a frequency. It's a higher frequency. It is a higher level of consciousness. Um, and we are moving into it by releasing all of the old, heavy, dense energy and embracing the truth, what lights us up, what is bringing us joy, what we love, rather than the things that we have to do, doing what we desire to do. So, like, my soul was, in my teen years, I was told that I couldn't make a living with my passions. So I learned that yeah, I put in quotations, learned that I could not go be a professional roller skater as I wanted to be, and that I had to go get a safe, stable, secure job to have the life that um, is good and stable and all of that. Just like how we're taught that we have to graduate high school, go to college to get the good job, and you stay at the job and all of that. I went to college, I got my degree, and I do utilize it. It's not like I don't. But did I actually need it to do this? Absolutely not. So these are just ways that we're learning that, maybe tapping into our discernment of what's true for us instead of what we have been taught. And I'm going to use this example because it's been up in my awareness a lot recently. And so think of the 3D matrix as this story where it was let's say Thanksgiving. I'm not sure exactly. So I'm going to use Thanksgiving. A woman goes to put a ham in the oven. She cuts off the ends of the ham and puts it in the oven. The husband asks, "Why do you cut the ends off the ham? That's kind of odd." And she says, "I don't know. That's the way my mom did it." She calls mom. "Mom, why is it that you always cut the ends off the ham?" "I don't know. That's what your grandma did." Calls grandma. "Grandma, why do you cut the ends off the ham when you put it in the oven?" "Because the oven was too small." So it's been carried on throughout generations to cut off the ends of the ham, but never asking, why are we cutting the ends off the ham? This is a metaphor for everything. How many beliefs do we carry? How many limitations do we carry? All of that energy is just passed down to us, and we just take it on as, oh, this is just the way it is. Whether it's in our society, in our culture, in our family, whatever, it doesn't matter. We've never sat back and thought, wait a minute, why is this way? Is this true for me? Why am I doing this? And once we start questioning those things, we start stepping into our sovereignty and building lives that we love. And we're stepping into freedom.
Yes.
I hope that
Okay, so
answered
I
the question.
it did. It did. It was beautiful, beautiful. And it definitely gave some foundational structures to anyone who's unfamiliar. So now I'm going to ask the next question, which
Sure.
is not on my questions. I always go intuitively where we're guided. And so I was thinking about it from the perspective of somebody listening and going, okay. Sure, we're going to have love and joy and kindness and this amazing world, while what we're experiencing right now is literally this world going to shit.
Mhm.
And so, how are we supposed to, as a collective and an individual, supposed to continue to hold that faith and raise our vibration and frequency? You and I were in
Yes.
Atlantis and Lemuria together. We have signed on for this. So you and I know we've seen it. We're tapped in, our frequencies are there. But for somebody who isn't quite there yet, or it has been there, but is still questioning,
Yeah.
how do they really tap into that this is coming? You and I believe it. I mean, we've
Yes.
seen it. So we
Yes.
know.
That's how I can stay so calm, is because I know what's on the other side of this. And okay, so they want to go into this a little bit and then we're going to answer the question. So we've had all these movements throughout history: the women's rights movement, the civil rights movement, the gay rights movement. You go through all of the movements we've been through. We get through that movement, we get to the end result of whatever movement it was, so more people have rights. And then it's kind of like we wipe our hands clean of it. Okay, that's done. Let's move on to the next thing. That's There's been this underlying current underneath all of those movements where people haven't been on board, and there's just been this um well, what's manifesting in our reality right now, happening in real time. um so you've got all this festering underneath the surface, and rather than keeping the baton going, holding that light, making sure that we're continuing the work, it's not done. All of this is living consciousness, and it has to be fostered and nourished. And so we can't just wipe our hands clean and say, okay, that's done. We're done. Let's move on to the next thing. It is really about being that frequency no matter what is going on, to shine your light, to do the things that you love, that bring you joy, that are, as you keep your frequency up, and you keep your frequency up by doing the things that you love, by choosing what is aligned for you, but also thinking of how your actions and your choices affect the collective. There are so many people that said, oh, I'm going to vote that this thing is taken away because I don't believe in it. It doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. Who gave you the right to take away someone else's rights? How would you feel if somebody took away your rights? And so starting to think in that way of, this may not be something that I personally believe, but I don't have any right to take something from someone else that is right for them. And so, in this case, let's use abortion rights. Doesn't matter whether or not you would personally choose that for yourself. There are many reasons why people need to have an abortion. It could be an ectopic pregnancy, their life can be in danger. So, you how could you take that away from somebody? That ability. It's not just like, oh, I don't want it, so I'm gonna just, get rid of the pregnancy. So they're using that as an example, and it may be more of the extreme, but it's a real life example. So, okay, so by keeping your vibration high, um, staying hydrated is very important. Hydration clears your channel. Choosing what you love, doing the things that bring you joy. And if you feel called to help in some way, maybe it's going to help in a soup kitchen. Maybe it's um, going to help the cancer ward at a hospital. It doesn't matter what the thing is. And don't feel guilty if you don't feel called to anything. It's just if you do feel called to something, go and help in that way. But it is about keeping your vibration high. By doing your own inner work, it ripples out into the collective. It shifts the energy in your family, in your household, and it goes out to your extended family, and then it goes out to your friends. And when your energy shifts, their energy shifts, and then the people around them shift, and it just keeps spreading. And so you can see this happen if you go into a room. Let's say you enter a party and everybody is dancing, and maybe you were just kind of in a funk before you got there, and you see everybody having a good time and the vibration is high. You can't help but not raise your vibration and meet them where they are. The same is true as if you walk into a room where there's just been a huge argument, you could feel the density of that argument and it can lower your vibration. Or, maybe your spouse is really grumpy and you're in a really good mood, and then snap, you're in the grumpiness too. It all, we all affect one another. And so, what is the things that will really improve your own life?
Yeah,
Gratitude goes a long way as well.
for sure. For sure. Okay, as we begin to kind of wind down, I always like to give everyone something tangible that they can take away. And just before I do that, I want to share that on our next episode, we're going to be talking about the matrix unraveling and recognizing the old paradigm programming we all have. So definitely like, share, subscribe so that you get the notification for our next episode. But
Yes.
as we complete this episode, what is the most important thing somebody should know or can do as they begin to step into this new earth consciousness?
Okay. So you may feel a little bit raw as you start clearing out that heavy density. there may be some guilt around changing, around shifting. Because what happens when you start to begin the journey, when you start to awaken, not everyone in your world is going to come along for the ride.
Mhm.
And so you may see that there is a distancing that happens between you and some of your friends, could be your family members as well. And so just understanding that we all have our own soul path, we created our own soul blueprint. We have lessons to learn on that blueprint. We have soul contracts with the different people that we have in our lives. Some of them are for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And so understanding that some people are only going to be around for the version of you that they can identify with. So maybe they're not choosing to do their work. And so they're going to stay in the vibration that they've been in. And you have every right to make the choices that will enhance your own life without guilt or shame that you're changing. Because, you'll hear, well, who do you think you are?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you don't have to answer them. You can just say, this is who I am now. And, if that doesn't resonate, then it doesn't resonate. And it's
Mhm.
okay. So, also, you may have some internal conflict going on because I'm not who I was and I don't know yet who I am. So I'm in this goo phase and it's very uncomfortable and don't know what to do here. That's when you can reach out to me or anyone else you feel called to work with. But finding, and it could even be just watching YouTube videos where somebody's talking about the transformation. And it could be that you're you're just feeling guided in certain directions. You will go through a sponge phase where you cannot get enough information, whether it's a whole bunch of books, like I have a few shelves full of spiritual books. Um, it could be that you're just in, you get drawn into someone's work, whether it is, maybe it's learning about the angels or the ascended masters or whatever. But that information is just your soul remembering what you already know from previous lifetimes. And when I say, I don't want to say previous lifetimes. For some of you, that's the way that you're going to understand it. And at some point, you'll understand it at a deeper level. I will use it as in other incarnations.
Mhm.
So we go through that phase where it's just like, how can I get more information? And then once you absorb that information, then it's how do I put it into practice? And you start shifting and growing, and then it kind of clicks, and you're like, oh, I get it now. And
Mhm.
also, it could be that you've done so much work, and then you're playing in the ocean on a random Friday at sunset, twirling around like a little kid in the ocean with the sunset catching your eye, and then realizing that you created this life that you can't believe is yours. And you're like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, how did this happen? Well, because you created it. And you are the creator of your reality.
Mhm.
So there's nothing permanent. You are not stuck. Everything can shift in any moment. And with every decision you make, you open new timelines. And if you don't prefer a decision that you've made, you can make another choice in the next moment and open up a whole new set of timelines.
Yeah. I remember somebody said to me, you're one choice away from your new life. And I loved that because all it takes is just one choice and then another and another. Those are the
Absolutely.
baby steps, right? And you don't have to
Yes.
look at it as a huge leap, as everybody talks about the quantum leaping and all of that. I remember somebody also said to me, you are so much further on your journey than I am. And you're at the time, she's like, you're only 3 years in, and I've been doing this for 30. It's not a race either.
No.
I integrated this world quicker. I never knew about it. I found out about it at 40, and by 43, I was completely immersed, and the journey never ends, in my opinion.
No,
And
absolutely not.
so I think lack of comparison is really important. And I love that you said nothing's permanent. Temporary is one of my most favorite words. COVID actually taught me that the most, is that nothing of what we imagine is necessarily going to be the same tomorrow.
Yes.
We could lose a job, we could gain a new team member. Everything is in flow and in flux. And so once you are grounded in that and knowing that right now, this present moment is really all you have, the past is done. You can't change that. And
It
the
only
future is
lives in your consciousness.
The future's unpredictable. So we've got to be in this moment together and
Yes.
working towards a common goal. So as we close today, I just want to thank you for all the work that you
You.
do. I want to remind everyone that Rennie is available in our community, community.sovereign-magazine.com. You can connect with her there. All her details of how to connect with her in the show notes are down below, and definitely subscribe so you can continue to receive all of our episodes. I believe we have 11 of them coming
Yes.
up. And so we're going to be going through a series of how you can deal with this new earth consciousness and awakening to it and grounding yourself in all of that. So next time, look forward to the Matrix Unraveling, Recognizing Old Paradigms Programming. And we will see you on the next one.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.